Greetings, Eric Bakker. Thanks for coming back again and checking out another video. As you can imagine, I get lots of questions. I always say that, and you always hear that, but it's true. I can't, in fact, reply to all of the questions that I get on YouTube. There are too many questions, far too many questions. So every now and then I pick out, what I think to be very, very good questions, and then I'll answer those on this channel. So the question here is how to do Candida cleanse if you're diabetic or if you've got diabetes. So one thing that you need to bear in mind is diabetes. People with diabetes have problems with blood sugar regulation. That's a very important point to bear in mind for somebody who could potentially have a Candida overgrowth or SIBO or bacterial problem. So people with diabetes can have their diabetes controlled. It can either be well controlled or poorly managed or very poorly managed. So the problem with, unfortunately, diabetes is with the blood sugar dysregulation, Candida can seize on the opportunity and just have a huge big party. They go crazy with all the sugar. People with diabetes, especially if it's not too well controlled, we're looking mainly at type 1 diabetes, not so much the type 2. These people can have a little bit of a glycogen problem, similar to what type 2 diabetics can have too. So type 2 diabetics, especially if they're overweight, you don't usually take insulin when you've got type 2 diabetes, not generally anyway. So if you're overweight and consuming sugar with type 2 diabetes, or you've got very poorly controlled insulin management with type 1, glycogen, or this is the storage for glucose in the body, you can have too much glycogen in the body, and it can come out through the sweat, it can come out through the urine, it can come out through the mucus, it can be in the vaginal area, it can be in different parts of the body where this, this basically sugar storage just elevates. And of course, Candida is going to seize on that opportunity and it's going to have a big party. It's going to feed on that sugar. So diabetics are more prone to Candida, especially if it's poorly controlled. So how do you do a Candida cleanse if you are a diabetic? Well, to begin with, you need to have your diabetes well controlled. So make sure that you visit your doctor, especially if you're type 1 diabetes and you're using insulin. Today it's a little bit different. When I first started practice, they didn't have the slow release insulin that they've got today. It's more easy to manage type 1 diabetes, and sometimes people just need a small amount of insulin once per day. But if you've got problems with hyper or hypoglycemia, with high blood sugar or low blood sugar, with diabetes, make sure you get it sorted. Eat properly. You know what to eat if you're a diabetic, especially if you're a long-term diabetic, an older one, my age. I'm not diabetic, but if you are diabetic, go to the doctor and make sure that it's well managed. That's the point I'm trying to make here. And also, with diabetes that you need to eat properly. Drinking alcohol is not a great idea with diabetes, nor especially is eating takeaway food or junk food, candy, ice cream, soda drinks, all this kind of crap that people should really be avoiding, whether they have diabetes or not. If they threw all this junk in the ocean, they'd probably kill all the fish, but the humans would be a lot better off. They could all drown in this soda stuff, But that's the point. It's got to be well managed, people. If you've got diabetes, make sure it's well managed, right? Another issue is hyperglycemia. So when your blood sugar gets too high, a 2015 study actually showed that it actually inhibits your immune system's response. There are these proteins called beta defensins that get produced in relatively large amounts in that case, and they can actually suppress the immune function. So blood sugar response is important for immunity, for energy, for mood and cognition, for a whole bunch of reasons. Whether you've got diabetes or not, it's important to eat regularly. But especially when you've got diabetes, it's important not to eat food that you shouldn't eat. Okay? Now, I shouldn't have to spell this out to you if you're a diabetic. You should know that. Be careful of artificial sugars. I think they're total junk, in my opinion. I really don't think it's a good move to go into these kind of products if you've got diabetes either. These Weight Watchers kind of sugars, these fake sugars, as I call them. So, let's wrap it up. What do you do if you're diabetic and you've got Candida? You need to get your blood sugar controlled. You need to treat the Candida. You need to make a diet change. Check out the Candida Crusher protocol. Look at the Candida supplements. They work very well with diabetics. I've had many diabetics take the Candida Remove, Restore, and Rebuild with a very good effect. You can manage your diabetes, and you also can manage your immune system's ability to stay cranked up and to avoid, a yeast infection. It's highly possible for you to achieve that. It just takes a little bit of control and understanding. All right. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the question.